It's Mickey TV, and this is my Minnesota Vikings season 2018, week number 3, game number 3 prediction, in which the Minnesota Vikings will be playing the Buffalo Bills at US Bank Stadium on, I believe, let me figure this out. They'll be playing the Bills on September 24th at US Bank Stadium, Sunday at noon. And as we know, the Vikings are coming off of a weird tie against the Green Bay Packers. And with, I believe, Chicago losing or Detroit losing, I can't remember which. But either way, the Vikings and the Packers are tied in first place in their divisions. So it's just kind of weird that we tied and now we're tied in the division. So, anyways, I'll try to make this quick. I'll go through some highlights on this game. They play the Buffalo Bills. I'll talk about the Vikings first, and then I'll talk about the Bills' issues, and then I will give you my prediction on who will win this game. All right. Well, like I said, we're coming off a weird tie. We're coming home. The crowd will be behind us. We do pretty good at home, which I like to see. I like to see that with this nice new stadium that we have a pretty dang good record at home. So that should be in our favor. A number of injuries of concern in this game. One is Everson Griffin. He will not be playing in the game. I think this one is probably not as big of an issue as the second one. Uh, in the defense, like I said, this defense is awesome, and even without Everson Griffin, which I would still want to see that man in there playing, even without him in that game, we're still going to do fairly good. We have a very good defense. We have a very team-oriented defense, and the players are just awesome. I mean, last week we had Xavier Rhodes. We had Alexander, another defensive back. Both play great games. We have great defensive backs that can pass protect, or not pass defend, and they can get in there on some quarterback snacks and rushing and stuff like that. So it's always nice to see that the defensive backs are in the game and able to handle playing some of those type of nifty plays up front. So we'll be without Everson Griffin. I think the defense will be fine unless we get a couple more injuries on the defense. Then I'd be a little bit concerned. But for the most part, I think this defense is going to do fairly good against the Bills. And the Bills, I believe their running back is hurt, so I think they'll be able to handle the Bills defensively against their offense. On the other side of the ball for the Vikings, we have Dalvin Cook, our second-year running back, who was hurt last year. Now he's hurt again, and he'll miss a game at least. I don't know. I didn't check to see how long he's going to be out for, but hopefully not too long. But he will be out of this game. So that just leaves us with three running backs and a fullback. One running back, Latavius Murray, has a lot of experience. I'm pretty comfortable with him being in there. I just like to see that he's involved in the receiving game as well. So we'll see if they'll do that or if it'll be very one-dimensional with the running backs. The other two running backs that we have are both, I think they said undrafted rookies. One is Mike Boone and the other guy is Rock Thomas. I don't know too much about these guys. So, but one of them has to play. If you're going to have a running back in the game, you got to have at least two running backs in the game because if your running back gets tired or gets gimpy or something, you need to bring in the other running back to give him a breather. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys do. See if they will play C.J. Ham a little bit more with the fullback situation. Usually the NFL doesn't really do much with fullbacks anymore except like, pass block or lead blocking for a running back or whatever. Once in a while, you might see a fullback get the ball handed off to him in short yardage situation and that, but that doesn't really usually happen much in the NFL. So it'll be interesting to see how the offense does against the Bills. Like we have a very good, obviously, we have a very good passing game. Cousins, I think, is last week he got really, really more comfortable with this team. It took a while for them to score some touchdowns, but they really cranked it up in the fourth quarter against the Packers. So I'm just hoping they'll have consistency in every quarter now where they can like get, it'd be nice if they score at least a touchdown a quarter. That would be great. So it'll be interesting to see. I think he's working well with Thielen. I think he's working well with Diggs and Rudolph and that. So it's just a matter of how much of the running game is it going to be bad enough where it might hurt the passing game, or will it be good enough to at least manage to make it through the game? I'm pretty I'm pretty good with Latavius Murray. I think he's a very capable and good running back. I'm just wondering who will be backing him up when he has to take a breather off of a play, and um, whether or not Mike Boone or Rock Thomas is going to do good or not in this game, which I'm excited to see. I want to see if these running backs are any good as well. And like I've said before, I want to see our running backs involved in the passing game as well. I want to have running backs that are both good at rushing the ball and catching with the ball and bringing it downfield. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on that regard. The Bills, well, the Buffalo Bills are 0-2. They've lost 2 games in a row. It's totally weird because last year they were in the playoffs as a wild card team, I believe. And I had great hopes with this team, and right now they're 0-2, and they've had a number of issues, off-field issues and on-field. They're during the last during their game last week against the Chargers that they lost that. Their defensive back Vontae Davis retired halfway through the game. He was very upset with the way things were going with the Bills, and he decided to like retire, which is crazy. Something tells me there is more to this than meets the eye on what the Bills have been talking about. So we shall see on that. So I think that will affect them quite a bit on defense. Offensively, McCoy is the running back, and he's out of the game, I believe, with an injury, but he's also been having some off-field issues. Whether or not these issues with his girlfriend or something like that are true or not, I don't know. I get really, really peeved when these things happen, and I just want people to have their due process before any judgment is made on what's happened, because we don't know what really happened, and you need evidence to prove something happened. If you don't have the evidence, then you have to side with him being not guilty of whatever he's doing. So, but if there is preponderance of evidence that should be handled by law enforcement, then the NFL and the Buffalo Bills should make a decision based on that ruling. But so the Bills are going through a lot of calamity. They're in disarray, and they need to bounce back. They're 0-2. If they lose another game, it's tough to come back from an 0-3 start. So with all that into consideration, the Vikings are very good at home. Their offense is pretty good. Their defense is awesome. The Bills are in disarray, and I have to pick the Vikings to win this game. They should win this game. But I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty close game as well. But I think, and the other issue is, well, we got the new kicker in, so let's hope there's consistency on that. So that has me a little, I mean, he's supposed to be good, this Dan Bailey. I mean, he's been in the league for a while, but with Mike Zimmer, we've been having problems with the kicking game. So we'll see if that gets handled. But I think this will be somewhat of a close game still, and I think the Minnesota Vikings will win this game over the Buffalo Bills by a score of 27-20. Well, I look forward to talking to you guys later, and I will talk to you later. Yes, so Skol Vikings.